Because here's the thing. I think today on the gram, it's all about that scroll, baby. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, BMAC'S. So after a lot of you have watched the Lightroom, Photoshop, and general photo editing tutorials on this channel, and after a lot of you checked out my Instagram feed at BMAC'Delic or Instagram.com/BMAC'Delic, maybe check it out, shoot me a follow if you like what you see, if you aren't already doing so. But after you guys checked out both of those, I've received a lot of questions about how I started and maintained my current Instagram feed and how you can go about doing the same for yourself. I think to really develop an Instagram feed, you need consistency. And I'm not talking about the kind of consistency we talked about in my How to Get More Instagram Followers video. That kind of consistency where you're posting on a consistent basis, that's just as important. I'm talking about consistency in the sense where one or more elements within your photos and videos on your Instagram feed are always the same. In other words, you have certain aspects of your photos and videos that are pretty similar in each one of your posts. And generally, I think those elements can be broken down into 3 different consistency categories, 3 different kinds of consistency that you could focus on within your posts. You have the genre consistency, the composition consistency, or color consistency. I think genre consistency is pretty much self-explanatory, but it's where you're constantly posting content that all revolves around the same kind of niche or category. Same kind of genre. Say for an example, maybe you're a makeup guru, okay? Every single one of your posts is going to be related to makeup. Whether you're talking about a certain makeup look or maybe a makeup piece of equipment. Is that what you call that? Makeup equipment? Makeup tools? Clearly, makeup is not my forte, but you get the point. Genre consistency means you're gonna keep posting the same kind of content all around a centralized topic. In that sense, maybe the different elements within your photos and videos vary from post to post, but they're all still connected through that genre you're talking about. Think about the kind of content that you have most available to you and the kind of content you're most passionate about. For me, personally, that's a lot of nature photography, outdoors, wildlife photography. I'm very lucky to have a lot of that at my disposal. I just walk outside, wildlife, nature, it's all right there for me, and it's something I'm passionate about. So those 2 things help that kind of niche, that kind of topic work for me. You could take this a step further and have composition consistency. I look at composition consistency where the general layout of your photos are pretty much the same from photo to photo. So say for an example, you're a food critic, right? You're going around to different restaurants, trying a certain dish and reviewing it. But maybe every single one of your photos is that overhead stylized look where it's directly over the plate with like the utensils perfectly placed. And maybe you do that for every single post. It's the same kind of composition. Plate, utensils, food, all in the same arrangement. Just start to think about the kind of layout you can incorporate into each one of your posts. On my feed, once again for example, usually all my photos obey the rule of thirds composition rule, which allows me to use movement, lines, and objects within my photos to help balance the overall photo out. And by figuring out more about how composition works and how you could use it to your advantage, that's how you can start to develop a composition consistency on your Instagram feed. But I think to really maximize the consistency benefits within your feed, you should really consider looking into color consistency. Color consistency is my personal favorite of the 3. It's actually the one I happen to spend the most amount of time focusing on. I'd say like 95% of the posts on my Instagram feed have a deep attention to detail when it comes to color. And it's pretty safe to say every single photograph that I post on my page falls within a certain kind of color consistency that I've developed. So whether I'm rolling with an orange and teal look with maybe a little bit of a hint of magenta or purple, or if I'm just rocking a very minimalistic cinematic look with a desaturated earthy tones kind of feel. Whatever my color scheme at the time, I try to stay consistent with those colors in order to maintain color consistency. And the reason for that is I think it's the most recognizable of the 3 different kinds of consistency you could have on an Instagram feed. And you could probably relate to this. If you're scrolling through someone's account and you're looking at their feed and all the colors sort of blend together and it looks real nice, that's color consistency. It kind of sticks out, stands out, it pops out. What's the verb I'm thinking of? It makes an impact. You're going to notice it. Color consistency is probably the most difficult of the 3 to master. Working with colors and working with complementary colors, all the different kind of colors and how they work with one another, that does take a while to learn about, but for the time being, try to figure out the different kinds of colors you can incorporate into your shots realistically and just roll with that. In my feed, for example, I'm almost always incorporating complementary colors, namely orange and teal, with maybe a few other colors mixed in. But I am making sure when I'm capturing the photo itself that those colors are at least somewhat present, and that way later, later, when I'm editing the photograph, all I have to do is make sure I highlight those colors. But just a little heads up, this does not mean you have to be locked into these different kind of consistencies for light. Take my feed, for example. I've switched it up a few times. Sometimes I switch up what I'm actually taking photos of. Other times I'm switching up how the photo's laid out, what the composition is. And I have definitely switched up my color palette from time to time. But at any given time, I'm always trying to maintain at least one of the 3 different kind of consistencies we just talked about to give my feed that kind of cohesive feel. Because here's the thing, I think today on the gram, it's all about that scroll, baby. I think you should try to make it so that when someone's scrolling through your feed, i.e. the scroll, your feed's gonna pop out at them. You have different consistency elements that's gonna make your feed stand out from the rest. And when your feed is standing out and is different and is highly stylized based on your preferences, that's when you can start to make waves and build your audience a lot more easily. The very first thing you should do when you're trying to start a themed Instagram feed is just start it. I know that sounds cliche, but just do it. It's okay to figure it out as you go along. As you start to develop your feed and your consistencies, you're gonna realize what kind of elements it's gonna take to incorporate in your posts in order to get your rhythm and kind of figure out what your style is. I know a lot of you who follow me on Instagram are wondering how I actually take and edit and post my Instagram photographs, and you wanna know the specific process for how I take photos, capture them, edit them, and export them to achieve the certain look that I currently have on my Instagram feed. So if you want more information on my photography tips, tricks, tutorials, and techniques, all my photography workflow essentials, you can check out the card annotation that's gonna pop up in the top right-hand corner of your screen, or of course, I'll always leave a link in the video description box below. And I highly suggest you check out my Instagram feed at BMAC'S or Instagram.com/BMAC'S. There you can see prime examples of the photographs and consistencies I'm sticking to on my Instagram feed. Maybe check out my feed, send a few likes my way, maybe shoot me a follow, and tag me in your posts, and I'll be sure to do the same for some of my favorites. I hope you found this video on starting and maintaining your own Instagram feed helpful. If you did, annihilate that like button. Oh my gosh, the sun is setting, it's golden hour. So many different Instagram opportunities outside right now. I gotta go. But thank you for watching.